Hi lads, I'm just going to talk to you a bit about deltas. They're areas of sediment deposited at the mouth of a river when it enters a slow-moving body of water such as a sea or a lake. And they get their name because it's supposed to resemble the letter D in the Greek alphabet. And there are different types that you can have formed, and the example here is that you've got a birdfoot delta, and a good example of that is the Mississippi. But you can also have very much rounded ones with a convex outer margin, such as the Nile, and that's called an arcuate delta. You can also get a cuspate delta, where material is evenly spread on either side of the estuary. An example of that is the Tiber estuary. Now, one of the great things about deltas is that they provide a huge amount of fertile land, and they're associated with good fishing grounds, and also with oil and gas deposits beneath the surface, for example, the Mississippi or the Gulf of Mexico. However, they are dynamic, they're constantly changing, and they're incredibly unstable and unconsolidated sediment, which makes them quite a dangerous place to live, and that's why so many people's lives are at risk, for example, in the Bangladesh Delta. Now, what happens is, as a river meets the sea, it brings with it a huge amount of sediment, and suddenly their energy of the river's water is dissipated. Now, as it loses energy, it therefore deposits its material. And so once again, you end up with this sorted deposition occurring, with the larger sediment being deposited nearer the mouth of the river, and then as you move away, smaller sediment being deposited further into the sea areas. And you end up getting these channels running through the sediment, and as you can see here, and there'll be lots of other channels running through, and these are referred to as distributaries, and they are one of the key features in all deltas. Now, it's also a term that you need to know is flocculation, and this is where water will react with seawater, and what happens is the salt in the seawater reacts with the sediment, causing it to coagulate, and therefore if it's coagulating it's becoming heavier, and that's why a lot of deposition occurs. Okay, so it's a reaction between the sediment and the salt water, or the salt in the seawater, which causes this coagulation and therefore deposition to occur, and that's one of the key reasons for delta formation. Okay, very simply done.